what does somebody do when they realize they have all of these tools, all of this software, and they don't know what to do with it? How do they weed through all of that, and then how do they prevent themselves from getting back into that position?
Is the question we don't know how to use it, or is the question we don't know how to maximize the usage of it? And maybe it's both, right?
It's both. It's what do we do?
Yeah. So I definitely think that there are two challenges, and it really comes down to people being the problem / solution to the challenges. We've purchased a lot of tools, and we keep referencing the MarTech landscape slide, and it's going to continue to exponentially explode. When I first started in this space, 2004, 2005, I was working with some really big name clients, and they had an analytics tool, they had maybe a survey tool, and probably a paid ads tool, and that was it. There was no optimization tools. There was no, screen replay, session replay, playback. There was no 50,000 separate marketing tags and tools. And not to say that we haven't added a lot of really valuable things, but it was a much simpler time back then. And the teams that were small back then, it was 2003 or 4 when Avinash wrote his 1090 rule about spending on people versus tools. That was 20 years ago, and the teams were still small way back then, but we had much less tool overhead to have to deal with, so we could invest time in truly building expertise through direct learning, using the tools, self-study, education provided by vendors or others in the industry. It was a mountain that we could conquer. But now, fast forward 20 years, the team sizes are the exact same as they were back in 2003. But now, the teams, instead of having 1 or 2 tools to manage, they have 200 tools to manage. If we think about, all of the marketing tags and the data layer tools and this and that and the helper functions and the plugins in Chrome, and it's overwhelming. So the simple fact that we have a small team being asked to manage a huge set of tools. We're not even talking about the outputs of those tools. We're talking about just the day-to-day managing, making sure these tools keep running. We shouldn't be surprised that it's difficult to really know how to use the tools. Like, how do we have the time? How does a 2 or 3 person team for a very large enterprise, or even a 2 or 3 person team for a small company that's probably wearing, 10 to 15 different hats, how can we expect them to truly understand how to use these tools? And what ends up happening is that issue of not having time to truly become incredibly knowledgeable about the tools, it actually creates a bigger problem in and of itself. We don't understand the tools. We don't have the time to truly learn them. So what do we do to fix that problem?
We buy more tools.
We buy more tools. And so it's this problem that is just building upon itself. And rather than taking a step back and thinking about investing more on the people side, building out larger teams, prioritizing time for members of the team for continuous education and learning, we're not doing that. And so the natural inclination is to solve these problems we're having about not being able to master the tools we've bought, we'll just go out and buy more tools. And rarely have I seen that be or have a positive outcome for any organization.